I'm talking today with Karim Khoja, the CEO of Roshan in Afghanistan, a man who's probably had the biggest challenge in telecommunications over the last few years. Karim, delighted to talk to you today. You gave a presentation at the festival. One of the things you said, over 70% of Afghans are now connected. How on earth have you managed to achieve that?
Well, I wouldn't take all the credit myself, but I think my company and certainly our competitors have a lot to do with that. But our vision was, when we came to Afghanistan, when there was only literally 100,000 people out of 32 million that were using phones, was to make the ability for people to talk ubiquitous. This meant, in some cases, going to villages and cities where they'd never even seen a telephone or a tower. And it was just pure, sheer hard work, persistence, and having the faith of our board and investors to invest large sums of money, like $600 million into the ground, and then proving the case that there was a business that was profitable and successful even in a country like Afghanistan, that brought further investment from competitors of the likes of MTN and Etisalat, who then brought in another $2.5 billion of investment into a country which has been effectively at war, as you know. And that does make a difference, because as you get natural competition, you want to stay ahead, and therefore you become more innovative, and that has led Roshan to be very innovative in its coverage, its quality, its services, and the way we approach the customer.
And it's also a country of unusual characteristics. One of the things you talked about was the difficulty or the hurdles in employing female engineers. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I have a phrase, and I'm sure I've plagiarized it from somewhere. If you invest in a woman, you invest in a nation. If you invest in a man, you invest in a bottle of beer. So our viewers, and we found this traditionally, once you get a woman employee, apart from the fact that in emerging markets that they will get pregnant, they will come back. And they tend to be much better employees, much more diligent, much more competent than their male counterparts. And often you get less fraud and you get much more productivity. But the challenge in an environment which is very often Eastern culture, where women are subservient, it was very hard. So you had to crack that. So I had to physically, literally go to people's homes, like the female engineer. I had to go and tell a father and mother that she would be working with strange men, but these were her brothers and sisters. They were Roshan employees, and we explained to them that Roshan had a value system, and we would make sure that the men respected her in that context of a family. And once we got one, and she came to work, and she started to tell her friends, we're the buzz of the universities, we're the buzz of the town amongst the women who want to come and work for us. Today, fortunately, that's resulted in 20% of our staff being women, as well as 37% of our senior management team being women, and we're very proud of that.
That's incredible. Now, just moving back to the technology, you achieved a hell of a lot. But what's next? What are the big challenges ahead?
So I think the key point here is that what we tend to do is we have to leapfrog, as we did when there was no telephony in Afghanistan. We leapfrog that. We are now having to leapfrog things like fiber optic in the ground, because there's no fiber. We use microwave because there was a lot of landmines and it was difficult to lay fiber. But if you're going to go to 4G and 5G, you're going to have to put that fiber in. So that's another leapfrog. We're also not just a telephone company. We're a way of life company. So one of the issues is, as you know, we're the second company to introduce M-Pesa, which is mobile money. Now, the problem with mobile money is today it's a very cash-driven society. So one of the things that we can leapfrog technology in Afghanistan is also introducing electronic money, or like an electronic debit card, which is your phone. And then people can take that and go abroad and use it as if it were a debit card. So we have to look at what's happening in emerged markets and say, how can we avoid the mistakes they've made, but then take those things like the Internet of Things or cloud computing. We already have a data center, so can we bring those services, or e-telemedicine? And in some instances, we lead the world. Like telemedicine today, we have an amazing telemedicine system which many parts of the Western world are looking at and saying, if they can do it in Afghanistan, why can't we do it at that cost in the United States or England or wherever for remote diagnostics? So this is our focus, not just being a telephone company, using technology to educate, to bring health, to bring quality of life to our constituents.
So you're doing a lot for the entire national infrastructure in a way.
Our mission and vision was always to build the social infrastructure of Afghanistan. And, you know, you may have heard me to say that about 3 months ago, a young baby who was born with with the brain tumor would have died had it not been for the telemedicine system, where a doctor was very basically trained, was physically walked through on our telemedicine system in real time by a brain specialist and ophthalmologist, because the tumor was near the part that affected the eyes, and this baby survived. So that's changing the life of a person. Our launch of our youth product called Yaran is focusing on a lifestyle where we're saying to the youth, there's high unemployment, but use our products, our data services, because they like data, bundle it with Facebook, Twitter, but as part of this, we will offer you scholarships to come and work at Roshan. We will give you internships. So we don't just focus on a pricing plan or a service. We focus on how we can change the face of that constituent within our company. So this weekend we have a launch of we're going to get a whole bunch of youth together to do a weekend where they are going to pitch to us to fund their businesses. There's 40% unemployment in the youth sector. If we can get them to write apps in Dari and Pushtin, one of them has come up with an app called Chigap, which is What's Up. So, this is local knowledge. They will do it. We have a young lady who's done an equivalent of Uber, but she didn't have a way to pay for it, so she's using M-Pesa. So these are the things we need to do locally, and then it can be exported to the rest of the Persian-speaking world.
Fantastic, Karim. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So, Roshan, changing lives in Afghanistan.